I tell you what, there's a lot of retail going on. Scott Driscoll's the National Executive Director of the Retailers Association. He joins us. G'day, Scott.
G'day, Gary. How are you?
Good, mate. Happy December. This is, you say, well, it could well be a pretty good December for a lot of retailers. People are spending, but there's a lot of discounting, a lot of competition on.
But I think it's going to be a good one for consumers. Retailers' margins might be a bit skinnier than we might like, but at the end of the day, that and a good, strong Australian dollar is probably bringing in some good prices on some of the import electrical stuff too.
Yeah, I actually was in a retail outlet this morning, and they said to us they've just had a big container arrive. It was of some furniture, and so they were primed, ready to go for a big Christmas. So obviously, those people doing the importing reckon that strong Australian dollar, a good time for them to buy, and we can only but simply get the bargains, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. And look, people will be out there hunting for them, and I think the retailers know that. And I think, with this bit of a body blow from the RBA a little bit a week ago, it's a shame. But I think a lot of people recalibrate now, and they'll realise that, hey, look, when we took that loan out, the interest rates were a whole lot higher than what they are now. So we're going to be okay, and it's Christmas time. Let's get out and do what we do.
Yeah, ebbs and flows, I suppose, too. But I saw some figures the other day that show something like 90% of people paying above what the bank's minimums are anyway, so people absorb that within their existing payment structures in the main, I think, Scott. So
they do. I mean, I think most households in Queensland anyway are in pretty good shape by comparison to the rest of the world. That's for sure.
So, do Queenslanders expect to spend more or less this year?
Well, it depends which poll you follow, and I suppose you've just got to, wait and see what happens on across the season. But look, we're seeing some drop in sentiment, and I think that was coming out of a not great October and November. And I think a lot of people really, the psychology of waiting for what the RBA were going to do was probably feeding into a little bit of that. Yeah. I'm pretty positive, though. I think people are actually feeling pretty good about job security now. I think the job situation is a lot more secure than perhaps it even was 12 months ago. And as we said, the interest rates for most family homes are still pretty low. So I'm seeing, and the feedback from retailers is again pretty positive, and even on the big ticket items.
And you say the sort of, plasma screen, I think I saw it on the TV news the other night actually, with the plasma screen behind you, but the point is that there's some bargains around. Any other big tips for bargains this Christmas?
Oh, mate, definitely the plasmas. I mean, I bought 5 of them there. I mean, they're going
one for every room. You got one in the toilet. I knew someone would have one in the toilet eventually.
Mate, when you give away a free wee, I mean, you excuse the pun there.
I wish we hadn't really said all of that now.
That pass, mate. But no, you're right. I mean, look, anything electrical, I think that's the big hot item. I mean, if you're talking about kids' toys, it's actually quite funny. You're going back to a retro Christmas. The Barbies, the Transformers, the Legos, all of that's flying off the toy shop shelves. And so you've got the really expensive stuff at the high end for the big kids, and I think the big kids might even win with the toys as well. It's what's old's new again. Yeah, and that's not a bad thing, because I think, we've just been talking about kids learning to do things, and I got to say, mate, you would have played with the Legos, I played with the Legos. They were always good things to learn from, weren't they? Absolutely, and unless you breathe it in or swallow it, it's pretty harmless. So, you do really get that creative flair, and I think that's a lot of people that I'm included. I've got a little bit of a problem with kids that just stay glued to a television set and press buttons all the time. Get them creative, get them out there, and having these creative spurts with a Lego set. I think right. And a bit of gravel rash on the limbs has never hurt anybody really in the long run. I don't think. Now, Scott, the big tip, of course, is we come later this month to the post-Christmas sales. How can they cut the margins further? Or is it about saying, well, this stock is here, we've got to get the cash flow back, so they just discount below even what they maybe bought them for? Gary, it'd be a bad day in retail if you had to discount below, and we have seen it happen. But I think this year, I think we're probably doing okay. So I think the savings, the message to consumers really is don't get fooled into thinking that you've got to wait until after Christmas. Go and buy now. Buy now, because those manufacturers and those suppliers are already passing on the good deals, and the retailers are putting that through. And the bonuses and that. So 24, 48-hour tradings, those sorts of things will happen before Christmas as usual? Yes, we'll see that certainly at Chermside anyway, which is, I think it's about 36, something extraordinary like that. Yeah, I think 4BC normally broadcasts from there. I think we like to get the bargains at this radio station. I mean, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning would be riveting stuff down there at Chermside.
Yeah, well, look, I'll see you there. There must be some sort of coffee shop, mate, about 4:30 in the morning. I don't know whether I'll make it, though. All right, good to talk to you, Scott. Good on you.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks for your time, Scott Driscoll from the Retailers Association. What are you going to spend this Christmas? Are you going to buy a big item for the family to share? Are you going to buy the old basics? 13 13 32 is our number.